What's up, my dogs? Shout out from the Netherlands. I love the Browns. Makes me cry, laugh, and scream sometimes. Woof, woof, woof.
Welcome to the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, John Nye, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast presented by Omaha Steaks. Coming back on another victory. Not today. Not so much of a victory Monday today, but we're still doing some recap here. We're going to do a little Browns therapy session after what happened yesterday in Denver as the Browns lost 29-12 to the Broncos. Josh hosting today alongside Justin and John. Blake had some, we'll just see, had a family situation come up this weekend. Everything's okay. Everybody's good to go, but he is not with us in studio tonight. He might be jumping in the chat, not sure, so keep your eyes open for that. How are you guys doing tonight?
We are okay, you know.
I will speak for myself individually on this. Yeah. I'm doing okay. I will not say we. I'm just okay.
I'm sorry, man.
It's okay. I'm just fucking with you. Whoops. Hot mic.
Blake's not even here.
I don't know if
not after hours. Sorry.
So since we're kind of down and everything because of the game, I think now would just be a really good time to say that Kenny Mack got his reached his goal for his Movember campaign.
Yep, Kenny Mack reached his goal. So thank you, everybody in the Dog Pack, everybody watching, listening, following the show. Help Kenny Mack raise, or he surpassed his goal for what he's raising for cancer research. So good for that. That was awesome.
I know we only got 23 people watching right now, but still, I mean, you guys are all, taking part in that. And I know a lot of you guys donated. So awesome stuff. And
bright spot in a very tough Ohio sports weekend. So.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So Thanksgiving for most people, I'm sure you celebrated before all the disasters this weekend. And before we dive into the main disaster, which was the Browns yesterday, just want to remind you guys, make sure you are following us on all the socials, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get up to 9,000. We're on our way, so help make that happen. And if you want some more of our content talking about the Browns and really just anything, go to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. We just did our Discord live episode before this one, so we were in there chatting with everybody, having a good time. And, we're in Discord every week during the games. People might not always be happy I'm in there during the games because I'm kind of a Debbie Downer, but man, was that rough yesterday. But yeah, it's just a good time. We do after hours all year long. We do Dog Pack members of the month, which I think we skipped the last two, so we're gonna have to do those.
I was gonna ask you about that.
We're gonna have to do those at some point. Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. But we will get back on that train. You'll get your T-shirts, and so jointhedogs.com.
Got a game poster for whoever wins.
That's right. Justin's got a game poster.
Game posters.
Which game was that?
I got a bunch of them.
Okay.
I guess I got just like 3 or 4 extra from a lot of games.
Okay, well, listen, before, what's going on in the chat? I'm on 2 different screens here. So, okay, looking cool.
Okay.
I think before we dive into the game, because there's going to be quite a bit of negative stuff, I do want to play a voicemail that we got last week, but I think it still applies to this week, and it's a little bit more upbeat, a little more positive. So this is Cheney.
Hello, this is Cheney Fulton out of Columbus, big-time Browns fan. Been a Browns fan my whole life. What I'm most impressed about this team is not just this year, it's the build to get to this point. We've had Kevin Stefanski for years now. Mike Tomlin's been there for years now. Zach Taylor's been there for years now. John Harbaugh's been at Baltimore for years now. I think that's the impression of what the Browns are trying to build here, is by having sustainable, reliable coaching year after year after year to build. The league, you can't just plug and play. You can here and there, but to build, it's got to be sustainable. It's got to be an overtime process. And we went through so many coaches over the years. I think that's the big thing that's changed this Browns team, is that we have the same guys year in, year out. Thank you for listening.
I thought that was a great point.
Yeah.
I mean, coming today, especially as the Panthers just fired Frank Reich 11 games into his coaching career. That's 2 years in a row that the Panthers have fired a head coach mid-season.
I was going to say, there's a 47-year streak where a head coach had not been fired in the first year, and then now there is 3 years in a row. Frank Nathaniel Hackett, and then before that it was Urban Meyer, Ohio State great head coach.
Frank Reich's been fired 2 years in a row midseason now.
Yeah. Well, the first year coach.
First year coach. I got you. Yes,
first year coach. But yeah, absolutely.
Like it's rough.
Resume's looking tough, man.
I mean, and this is obviously if you're listening, if you're watching, and you just absolutely despise Kevin Stefanski and you hate anything positive about him, this won't be the show for you. Now, just because I said that doesn't mean the guy's beyond criticism. There were some things yesterday I was like, but overall, just because we lost a game does not mean that we need to go fire the coach. So we're not going to go through any of that garbage tonight. I did want to say about the building concept. I've seen some stuff online about, AB should have been better prepared, should have had, this is on him that we don't have much talent on the field. Guys, what is Andrew Berry, the general manager of Cleveland Browns, supposed to do? Get starter level players the entire way through the depth chart? I want to run through this list.
Yeah, go ahead.
These are the injured Browns at the moment. Now, if you told me before the season that in week 12, this was the list of injured guys, I'd have said, nah, there ain't no way we got more than 3 wins this year. Okay, it's Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson, Denzel Ward, Amari Cooper, Jack Conklin, Anthony Walker, Jedrick Wills, Marquise Goodwin, Rodney McLeod, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the backup quarterback, Jacob Phillips, Jakeem Grant, Myles Garrett. Come on.
So the first 2 names you mentioned, Watson and Chubb.
Yep.
Out for the season.
Yep.
Not just one game.
Correct.
It's really hard to overcome. And, I think we should just try to maintain, a positive attitude, because we went to Denver, we lost, we had just won 5 of our last 6 before that. I think we're in a good spot. And man, we made everything went wrong. Yeah. We made so many mistakes, but we lost. I predicted a close win. I was wrong. I didn't get that, but it's really, I don't think we need to act like the season's now unraveling, guys. We won 3 games in a row. We lost 1. So let's just come back and, win next week.
It's a great attitude, John. It's a very positive. I'm feeling just uplifted off of that. I was telling these guys, I'm hoping I don't mess this stat up, but I heard it this morning as I was driving into work. They said that 63% of the payroll for the Browns this season is injured right now.
Did that include Myles Garrett?
I believe so.
Okay.
I want to say it. I mean, that would help, that 63%, not a lot. But it's just, I don't think in my life I've ever seen a team deal with so much adversity, especially the Browns. Like, this is the kind of thing that if you would have told me, oh, we lost Chubb, we lost Watson, we're thinking going into today, everybody, all I heard was, well, Myles Garrett's out for the year. So yeah, this thing could go south real quickly. It's just, it's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I'm with you, John. I think that this team is kind of built different. They kind of handle adversity like this. Now they're coming off of a very ugly game. It was one of the hardest games that I've had to watch, like as a Browns fan, in a long time, where I was just like, kind of just devastated for the team. Like, as a fan, you're upset, you're kind of hurt maybe, but like, you could tell that the team, that was not what they wanted coming out of that. You got DeJuan Jones crying on the sideline and stuff like that. It's just like.
So we're 7-4.
Correct.
So
great. Yes.
Let's go back. Let's go back to Andrew Berry for a second.
Go ahead,
I just
buddy.
want to point this out. You guys remember what happened to the Jets week 1?
Yep.
Correct. Okay.
How's their season looking?
Not
great.
Good at all.
How many players did they lose?
1.
One player. Okay.
And a couple others, but a big one.
They lost Aaron Rodgers, and he was their hope. He was their future.
Right.
He's the great hope for the New York Jets. So they signed Rodgers, and they think they have Super Bowl aspirations. They lose Rodgers, just Rodgers. That's it. And they automatically know they're going nowhere. It's on to next season. That's what it felt like to be a Browns fan for a really long time. So we lose our franchise, the face, everybody's favorite, Nick Chubb, Batman. And he's out for the season, week 2.
Yep.
We didn't give up. Watson goes out, misses multiple weeks. We won 2 out of those 3 games. Now Watson's out for the season, and we just won another game. And then we did lose one, but we've overcome. See, Justin, like you were saying, like no one's gone through this. There are teams that have gone through similar things, but they didn't overcome.
Correct. That's fair.
I honestly think the Browns have put together a season up to this point to be proud of, that I'm proud of, because, I mean, look what they're missing. And look what they've done with it. Better than most Browns teams have been able to, we've put together any roster that's 7-4 in my lifetime. I think maybe 3 or 4 other times, if that. That was with all the starters healthy, or most of them, starting quarterbacks healthy. And man, I would just say like hats off to the Browns so far, because I'm very proud of what I've seen.
Tight knit group.
Yeah. Really good team.
Yeah. And you can tell that they're playing for each other. All the stuff you see, the mic'd up stuff, the locker room stuff, even like when they're just interviewing the players, they're playing for each other. And when Watson went down, you could tell, it was just next man up. It was just next man up ability, or just belief. And
which is interesting with your Jets comparison, because you see how the Jets, Robert Saleh, the head coach of the Jets, has lost the locker room 2 years in a row because of his decision to continue to play Zach Wilson. But that's because Aaron Rodgers got hurt. The team didn't rally. They don't support the quarterback. The defense is like, yo, we're really good. The offense is trash. Like, you're killing our season by continuing to do this. You don't see any of that with the Browns. Kevin Stefanski has this team so bought in. Yes, we got to stick PJ Walker out there. And as a Browns fan, it's like, well, that's it. But they still come every day. They work hard. They fight. We were detailing the human side of things before the show about how this whole West Coast trip, I don't know how many of you guys watching and listening realize this. They're spending 2 weeks out there. They're not coming back. They took Thanksgiving away from their families. We were talking about, everybody's getting together, having a good time with their families and stuff. The Browns are gone. They're out on the West Coast getting ready for a game. They're coming off 2 big emotional wins. They know they've got another game out West. They got to stay there a whole nother week. Like, it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on. We just weren't up for that game at all yesterday.
That's fair.
So another thing, because we were talking about this, we got some comments about questioning basically the identity of our podcast is now we're just a bunch of Stefanski apologists, no matter what. And I watch all of our episodes after they come out just to see, I like the sound of my own voice. Who wouldn't? I actually hate it.
Do a little film review, I guess, right?
But and I kind of can actually see where people are coming from with that, because we spend a lot of time calling out the haters. But Josh and I were talking about this. If you guys want to just set up, you can be on one side or the other. You can't be in the middle. You're either a hater or you're an apologist. Then I'm an apologist.
Yes, if it's black or white.
And I have no shame in that, because he's a good coach. So I'd rather not be a hater on the good coach. I'd rather be the apologist. However, none of us have said that every single play he's ever called is the right play, and he's never made a mistake. We've never said that. No one's ever said that. But he is a good coach, and we're not in a position right now where firing our coach should even be on the table. It's not an option. And I really hope you can see that. Not saying he's perfect, but I've asked this before. Who are we replacing him with?
Well,
Frank Reich?
I think
he's available.
He is available.
That's a good cue up, so Blake sent us his thoughts for the show tonight. So I'll just read these real quick, because it definitely goes to what you're talking about. Blake says, my thoughts are the Stefanski hate is dumb. We weren't running the ball that effectively, constantly behind the chains because of penalties and drops. True. People were mad he didn't open it up for DTR last week, saying he's a rookie QB. We should run it every play now this week. It's so exhausting. Pete Carroll is going to the Hall of Fame, and he caught a pass at the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl. Correct. Can we stop wanting to fire our coach after every single game, even if we win? Do we want to be the Panthers or the Chicago Bears? And also, if Myles and Amari are out, I don't know how much we can ask one team to overcome. I know it's next man up, but at some point we are asking the impossible. Most teams in this situation would be lucky to have 3 or 4 wins.
Yeah.
It's all very fair. And there's just some other things I wanted to, so we were having some debate with people online again about, I'm trying to find my notes here, the play calling. Might as well just dive into it, because I know that's what a lot of people are probably saying in the chat. Again, I don't have it.
No, chat's
cool.
Chat's calm.
Chat's calm. Everybody's all right. Everybody's
serene.
Everybody's hanging out.
It's not like, so we got 41 listeners.
Okay.
Including me. I'm one of them.
It's good.
But it's
not the 200 that normally tune in for
it's not a Victory Monday.
No, it's not.
It's a sad Monday.
Because there will be people watching the replay of this show. What I want to do is look at these. So somebody actually listed these out for me. I really appreciate it. Benny the Jet on Twitter said, here were the Browns run plays yesterday for everybody clamoring that the Browns should just run the ball. We were 32nd ranked rush defense, blah, blah, blah. Here were the yardage by play: 4, 3, 19, and 11. And then 7, 3, 3, 3, 2, 13, 6, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of low numbers.
That's fair. That's fair.
Go ahead.
I guess to touch on that, the only thing that I would say yesterday, watching that game, I thought Jerome Ford was playing really, really nice. I thought he was playing very, very aggressive. He was looking like he was running different yesterday. I liked what I saw yesterday from Jerome Ford. So at the end of the game, when I see just 9 touches, now he did have I think 4 other catches on screen passes. I think there was 3 drops maybe, or at least 3 that, total of 7 targets. But
did he have runs that came back on penalty?
I don't know.
That's something that could have happened too.
That was the only thing is would I have liked to see some more of that mixed in? Sure. But at that point, it got to a point where the game script kind of had to go out the window. Right.
Exactly.
So all this stuff that, why are we, well, I was surprised we threw it so much at the beginning, but we talked about it. You go back and you look, there's 10-man boxes right off the bat.
Yep.
You're going to run into that.
Exactly. And people are crying out all day. Oh, Kevin threw the ball 42 times against the 32nd rank. Okay. First of all 13 of PJ Walker's passes have to be thrown out of that equation because we were down so bad and it was the fourth quarter. We have to pass.
Yeah.
We have to pass. We can't just go out there and run the ball every play.
And Denver knew that.
Feasted exactly.
on it.
So I went and I looked and I posted this on Twitter. I'm just going to read it and then we'll talk about it. So the Browns called 16 run plays and 29 pass plays while DTR was in the game. But 6 of those pass plays were right up to or underneath the 2-minute drill in the first half. So those are obvious passing situations in the 2-minute drill. Mm-hmm. And 6 more of his passes came on 3rd and long. So that's 12 right there. So if the Browns were in a non-obvious passing situation where, defense knew we had to pass, the Browns were essentially 50-50 run pass split with DTR in the game. And then for the entire game, the Browns actually had 24 runs and just 17 passes in those non-obvious pass situations. So that comes out to 58.5% of the time in non-obvious passing situations, Kevin called a run.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
I mean, that's almost 60-40. How much more run heavy do you want to get in an NFL game? You know what I mean? Where the defense knows you're going to run the ball.
Last week they knew.
Exactly.
The Steelers knew. Mm-hmm. And we won that game.
We threw 43 passes, short passes.
Yeah. I mean, and, when the team knows what you're going to do, I mean, come on, if we ran the ball 10 more times and threw it 10 fewer times, that's not getting us the win. I mean, we got outplayed yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
It was a bad game. I think people, they kind of make this mistake because you have to wait a whole week and it's super frustrating when you lose because it's not like baseball, where you get to, we'll play tomorrow. It's frustrating to watch a loss, especially an ugly one like that, because you got to wait so long before you get to see us play again. But people make this mistake of thinking it's like every game is our, we're playing at our pinnacle. And if we lose, then, we're terrible. But we just came out on the road and we played a bad game. And I'm not saying it's not frustrating because it is frustrating, but the sky's not falling in Cleveland, guys. Like, we're okay.
Everything's good. And, for all the people talking about the play calling, and Kevin needs to give up play calling. You've heard that a lot. We hear it from people all the time, or God forbid, he needs to be fired. What about our defense yesterday? Nobody is talking about the fact that the Broncos came out and said, we were going to smash you in the mouth, and we took it. We just let them run it all over us. Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine. I mean, these guys crushed us, just absolutely. And we were talking about Russell Wilson's escapability from the pocket. I was worried about it coming into the game. I know he's not the electric runner that Lamar Jackson is, but he just gets out of the pocket different than these other mobile quarterbacks. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the moves outside the pocket. But getting out of the pocket, I don't know if there's anybody better than Russell.
I have noticed a trend minus the Arizona game, we come out extremely flat for about a quarter and a half now. And we just, once we get going, we get going. And we usually are able to grind back into things. Offense picks up. But, I mean, there's been some questionable, honestly, I think that when it comes down to it, they saw something yesterday because Russell ought to pulled out numerous plays, and there was just gaping holes on the inside. And it was surprising because I felt like we haven't seen that in a few years. And I mean, a little bit in the Baltimore game, and maybe the Indianapolis game, but for the most part, that the rush defense has been something. The entire defense has been something that we've been just kind of able to just. That was our solid piece. That was something that we were able to, at the end of the day, when things weren't going right, we had that. Mm-hmm. And so that was tough. I just thought we kind of just came out flat. And then unfortunately, once DTR went out, not to talk bad about PJ Walker, but
we can't PJ Walker anymore.
No, I'd like to ask you guys, because I thought this was one of the bright spots. If we're going to talk about positive things while we're on this, how did you guys feel about DTR? Because I thought that he was a little bit off, and maybe he was firing him in there, and there were some drops and stuff like that. But I thought that I was surprised by how good he looked, honestly. I thought that I was confident that going into the end of the game, I was like, this kid is going to bring us home.
I like it because you get rid of the ridiculous amounts of pressures that we usually don't allow, and you get rid of the drops. Mm-hmm. That's an entirely different ballgame.
The fumbles.
Yeah, the fumble. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stop fumbling the ball. Quit turning the freaking ball over.
DTR was not even close to an issue for us. Yeah. Honestly, I think if, with proper execution, he probably would have led us to either a victory or at least it would have
been interesting.
He would have made it really fun to watch at the end of the game.
And I've been thinking all day, like, the way DTR played in the game yesterday has me in the position where I'm feeling, if he's healthy, roll with DTR. He's the guy. I think Joe Flacco needs to be the backup for sure, because we cannot run into a situation where you're bringing PJ Walker in a situation like yesterday. But to start a game and hopefully finish it, DTR looked like he made some serious strides, and it's only his first road start. Mm-hmm. He's playing behind a patchwork, practice squad, third string offensive line, on the tackles. So
yeah, and
the weapons are suspect in the Browns offense right now. Elijah Moore, I don't know. I don't know what he's
good. It's good when it's.
I don't know what he's ever going to be. I feel like he's. I don't know.
He has some really explosive plays. Like he had that 26-yard catch, and it was like, whoa, man,
Sure, he can make some nice receiving plays, but it's other plays where I'm like, stop using him as a gadget guy.
Yeah.
He's not a gadget guy.
Just want him to be a slot guy.
Yes.
I've been kind of hollering that all year. Like, let's just let him be the slot guy. Let him be Jarvis.
Never.
Yeah.
I never want to see Elijah Moore behind the line of scrimmage ever again.
Can we talk about more positive stuff?
Sorry.
Go for it, man. What you got?
I'm just going to bring positive things out for a little bit.
All right.
And we can get negative. What do you guys think about Cedric Tillman?
That's where I was going to go with the skill position thing. I was going positive at some point there.
Okay. Because I thought,
hell yeah, Cedric Tillman looked like a man yesterday.
I think that, those two, DTR and Cedric Tillman, played in high school together. I don't know if anybody knew that.
I did not.
And so there's a little bit of chemistry there. But I think all those reps that those guys took in the preseason, they've pretty much worked together all season because they're the second unit kind of guys. Man, I liked what I saw. Cedric Tillman.
The hands catch was where he caught the ball out here, and he's got the defender's like banging on his arm, and he didn't even try to bring it into his body. He just kept it out away from the defender, and just held it there.
Heads up play, good hand. It's always nice when a receiver has good hands, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we kind of need that.
Are you being negative?
No, I was just trying to state the obvious.
Okay.
Cedric was
fair.
A positive thing.
Yes.
Definitely a positive takeaway, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Which is, it's about time.
I like your jacket, Justin.
Thanks.
And I like that shirt, too. That's nice.
Thank you.
I like your jacket. It's very blue.
I said John came in wearing Denver blue and Michigan blue tonight, so I don't know what the hell that's all
I
about.
can tell you I've known this guy a long time. He's not ripping any of that.
No, I know. I'm just messing.
We are live.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to say it, but Michigan, I hate you.
Okay.
So anyway, before we go down that rabbit hole.
Moving on.
No, but I do want to stick on Cedric Tillman for just a second, because we've had this entire season where really we've only used Amari Cooper, and then we sprinkle in and just enough Elijah Moore to say we have other receivers.
Yep.
That's been it. DPJ was here, didn't use him.
Right.
Marquise Goodwin, a couple deep shots here and there, but we don't really use him. And that's been about it. David Bell catches a pass here and there, maybe every other week. That's it. And it's like, okay, we used our first pick in the draft this year on Cedric Tillman, our third round pick. Like, where is this kid? There he is.
Seeing some opportunity.
There he is.
Nice.
It's about
I think
time.
that trade is going to be a great opportunity for him. At the time, I didn't really care about that trade when they did it. I was like,
I don't know why
The
you would.
DPJ trade?
yeah, I was like, we
Cool with it. He's
weren't
not coming
doing
back.
anything. Well, and we weren't doing anything
Right.
with him at the time. I was just like,
But that was Stefanski's fault.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Fire him. No, that was a joke. But yeah, it's exciting. It's very exciting. Any more positive things?
Will, I guess, why don't we just hit this? I got a voicemail here from Mick, so let's hear what he has to say.
What's up, Browns fans? This is Mick Tomzik from San Diego, California. I'm sure everyone's as disappointed as I am in the performance of everyone. I don't know who to put it on. Everyone keeps pointing at Stefanski. I mean, that double reverse to Pierre Strong, not a good call, I don't think. Not good in the red zone, settling for field goals. I don't know. It's hard to point the finger. I know we have a lot of injuries, but at what point do we keep relying on the injuries and not look at the backups? You know, at this point, it's time to nut up or shut up. We need the boys to start performing. We need to get some dubs. We need to stack them. And like Stefanski says, we need to do better, whatever it takes. We just need a hard look in the mirror as we come on the stretch for some winnable games. But hey, you know, it's another loss, but we're still in the hunt for the wild card. So whatever we got to do, Browns fans, team, you know, just everybody.
Actually, real quick, I'm glad that he mentioned Stefanski and whatever it takes, because if you guys want to go get one of our new shirts, I'm trying to find the graphic here to bring up on the screen. There you go. So whatever it effing takes t-shirts are on our merch store right now, thedogspodcast.com/shop. And right now it's still Cyber Monday, so they're still on sale for $12.50 a t-shirt. So go over there and get those before they go back. I think they only go back up to like 16 or something, so it's not a big deal. But
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
no, you're good. I'm just doing a pitch here. No big
Did
deal.
you still have the numbers pulled up for how many pressures our guys allowed?
Well, I'm pretty sure off the top of my head, I think Jerron Christian was either 5 or 6 and DeJuan Jones was 4 or 5.
That's a lot compared to.
Yeah, usually it's 0 for this.
Yeah,
it was last week.
You know, guys, I'd have to put this loss on performance. Like,
Oh, the execution was piss poor, just
bad
absolutely
execution,
pathetic. Yes. So why don't we just? I'm sure everybody in the chat, everybody watching this afterward, listening to this on audio, let's just talk about the triple, quadruple reverse play that Stefanski called.
Okay.
First of all, let me just. Everybody, it was not a double, triple, quadruple reverse play. It was a single reverse play. They DTR. It was was it PJ DTR? I can't even remember. It was PJ at that point.
PJ to Elijah.
He takes the shotgun snap,
Yes.
hands it off to Elijah as a
Yes.
jet sweep. Okay, so he's out of the backfield, and then he just flips it to Pierre Strong coming back the other way. So it's a reverse play. So it was not some wild play. The execution was awful. Because we were talking, DJ Jones, the defensive tackle for the Broncos, was 4 yards in our backfield before Elijah Moore even thought about pitching that ball. Pierre Strong came off of his assignment and came back to catch that pitch. And you can just see it. Watch the replay. He sees Jones right there. He's like, shit.
I'm going to get killed.
I'm done. And of course, he just drops the ball. And that's who recovered the fumble was Jones, because he was there. Right. He was like all the way in the backfield. Nobody blocked him.
It was just terrible. It was
whole thing was
tough
bad.
Game to watch, man.
Go ahead. Talk about the reverse. I know you got some thoughts on that play.
My thing, and this is, I think it's just kind of like PTSD from for the last 3 years, but every time I see a play like that, I just think, is it 4th and 1? Or is that what we're doing? Because I felt like we get burned on that play so many times. It's not that I don't like the play. The execution was awful. And for me, it's more of the guys that you had in there. right?
Yeah.
So you have PJ Walker's just coming into the game, and then Pierre Strong really hadn't been in the game at all, basically came in cold. And that's the guy that, and I know he's a quick guy. You don't have Marquise Goodwin, so you've got to have a speed guy to get to the edge. I completely understand that. I just,
but it's like an alert bell for the defense when you see a guy who hasn't played all game come in and he lines up out wide. He's a backup running back.
Yeah.
It's not like we're bringing in our number 3 receiver or speedster.
well, and we've even talked about that. Like whenever you see Goodwin come in and kind of, you know what the play.
We're either going to do it or we're going to fake that play.
Yeah, exactly. So it's.
Yeah.
And then part of me, when I was watching the replay of the game, and I was trying to like see how the linemen were blocking. I was like, well, did Elijah Moore F this play up? Was he not even supposed to pitch it? Maybe it was a fake reverse. But the way it was set up with the blocking on the backside, I think it was supposed to be a reverse. So, but there for a little bit while I was going back and watching through this play, I'm thinking, I wonder if maybe this was run incorrectly. But I based on the way the blocking,
watching it live, I felt gutted. I felt absolutely gutted because not only was PJ Walker in the game, which I automatically knew. I had a buddy text me. I'm not going to say what my exact response was, but it was very negative. And for me to be very negative during a Browns game is bad. But I basically said, well, that's it. Mm-hmm. And you will not hear, I'm the kind of guy until it's 000s in the fourth quarter, I will never say that. I knew that we were so up against it. And then when that play happened, I already kind of had like a moment when they had the drop 2-pointer. I was like, maybe things aren't going our way today. Like maybe this is a little bit too much. And then we got DTR walking the sideline and Martin Emerson's on the sideline, can't hold his arm up, and Myles is lined up and looks like his shoulder's going to fall off. And I'm like, maybe this is just hard to watch. As a Browns fan, it was just painful.
Yeah. The way we were,
go ahead.
I was like, the way we were getting hit by the Broncos and stuff, I was just, at a certain point, you got to say, just for God's sake, get out of this game without anybody else going down. Because they're coming after us. I mean, I don't care what anybody wants to say. Listen, this is Sean Payton. He's got a history of this. Okay, these dirty bounty head hunting. It happened. Okay. So how many? We talked about this in Discord. How many teams this year have had a player suspended for dirty hits? The Denver Broncos. And then let's see who replaced him. That Luck guy who was dirty hitting guy. I mean, come on. I was just excited. Look at the pattern of behavior.
When they said, the kid's name's Kareem Jackson, right? Safety. That got suspended. Kareem. When he was out, I was like, because he's kind of nice. I mean, he kind of is dirty, but he plays very aggressive. He's a patroller. He kind of reminds me of like an Ed Reed out there. Like he's just holding it down. And if you throw across the middle, well, you're not going to do that anymore. So I saw he was out and I was like, okay, well, hey, that's a big positive for us. And then this kid came in and say what you want. He played pretty well. He played well for a kid coming up and stepping in, but it was tough. There was a few hits where I was like, the one on DTR, everybody's like, he hit him in the shoulder. I'm like, well, the crown of his helmet is hitting him in the chin.
Right here.
Yeah.
And he left his feet. Yeah. I mean, come on, that's a penalty every time. That's a no-brainer.
It was just tough. Just a tough game. And you kind of got that vibe. I mean, and you look at the injury report and you're like, Jesus.
Yeah.
How are we honestly supposed to roll in and play LA in 7 days now? It's just,
I don't know, man. It's going to be tough.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. When Amari Cooper dropped that 2-point conversion, that was kind of my moment of.
It's just one of those days,
Yeah, because and we do the Discord chat with all of our Dog Pack members during the game every week, and there's so many positive people in there, and I love it. And they've got the saying of "We're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I trust in this defense. We're going to be okay." And it's just. Yesterday, I just did not feel okay. I didn't feel okay. And, there were still times like when the Denver Broncos went down and scored right away at the beginning of the game. My initial reaction, because I'm like, I'm going to try to be more positive today than I am most weeks. And I said, you know what? We do this every damn week. We always let the other team go down and score a touchdown right away. And then we just shut them out for the next 2.5 quarters.
We usually let them get up 14-0, but.
Yeah, and then it goes up 14. I'm like, well, we don't usually let that happen every week where it's in that quick. And then You know, and then we're fumbling the ball. It's like, well, we do that every week. So, okay, great. And, you know,
You're negative. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
I'm realistic. Come on, I watch the games.
It's fair. It's fair.
I mean, as soon as we fumble the ball, I'm like, yep. We got to get at least one turnover a day. And then we fumble again. I'm like, right. We're back on 2. That's about the average. And then 3, I'm like, man, we were going for gold today. And
it was,
it was just a bad game all
sloppy.
around.
It was just a sloppy game. You guys both said it. Execution was poor.
Amari Cooper is the type of receiver that if I need a 2-point conversion and it's like I can only throw it to one guy, I'm throwing it to him, and I'm confident if I hit him in the hands, he's coming down.
And he's very wide open.
And he dropped it. I'm like,
and he scooped it too. He had it, and it just
And it's just it was that game, and David apparently did not get on the jugs machine. I think breaking news after the game last week, so I think that was all for show. I don't know. It was just bad. Like these guys got to catch the ball.
So I sometimes forget what we talked about before we started recording. We got a comment from Kerry that says JOK had a good game, and I
yes,
think
he did.
Kind of glossed over.
Yeah,
that.
I agree.
What a beast! He was definitely a bright spot. He played very well.
I thought he was coming alive in the third.
Yeah.
I thought me and John were always texting. I'm like, hey, this kid is going to bring us where he's going to bring us home. We're good. And just, you kind of knew when you saw the hit. That was one of the worst hits I've seen in a long time, where it reminded me of that Mason Rudolph one where they had to take his face mask off on the field.
My gosh, I forgot about that.
It reminded him the hit watching it, except he didn't get sandwiched. He just took the whole, helmet right in the chin. And I was just like, oh man. I was like, okay, well. And even then the blind optimist in me was like, well, I'm like, I've seen PJ kind of sling it around a little bit. That Seattle game, he was slinging it around a little bit. Let's let him get out there and sling it around.
I was bummed out.
But
I tried to be optimistic.
Me too. But it's tough. The nice thing is, this is just one game.
Yes.
Right? We can get if we can get all the bad stuff out in one bad game and just move on. Great.
The problem is, okay, and yes, this is going to definitely go on the negative side of things. It's not ever just one game where we have like a million mistakes. We detailed the plethora of mistakes we made in the Ravens game that we still won, but we made every mistake known to man in that game. Think about our first Ravens game. It was awful. Like we just crapped down our leg the whole time. These things have been happening to the Browns, and we've been able to overcome them, which is awesome. But the more injuries we sustain and guys being out and as this playoff race tightens up toward the end of the season, we cannot continue to have games where we go out there and make 10 to 15 detrimental mistakes in a single game every week and still pull out a win. It's the probability is not there. We can't put the ball on the ground 5 times. Yeah, we recover 2 of them, but the ball's on the ground 5 times. Come the freak on, guys. Like,
how many turnovers did Denver have yesterday?
Did they just have the one? Russell's fumble?
Okay.
Yeah, we recovered a fumble. That's all I can remember.
What, -2 on the turnover ratio yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that when you allow the team to kind of control the clock with the run, which they, Coach kind of talked about it. Coach Stefanski said, when they run for that many yards and they control the clock, your defense can't get off the field, and then you have untimely penalties and untimely turnovers. Your chances of winning the game aren't good. And the crazy thing is, for a good portion of that game, we were right there. We had everything that we needed to come back, and we just had to have some things go our way, which honestly, for the most part, the season we've done. I mean, I felt like, hey, it's just another one of those kind of games. It's going to come down to the wire, and D-Hop's going to go out there and kick a field goal, and we're going to walk this thing off and on to next week. Didn't quite go like that. But it is what it is. But you're right. It's been an issue all season. This isn't like a one-off. We're leading the league in turnovers, and how many do we have now?
23 turnovers in 11 games.
And it's been by multiple guys. Like it's not like hey, this guy's just throwing a ton of interceptions.
It's not Josh Allen picks.
It's spread. And it was just a perfect storm of all the bad things that you could have happen to you: injuries, penalties, turnovers. It all happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. It was very, very, very tough to watch. But
so Justin texted shortly before we started recording. and that's where I kind of got the news that Myles is not out for the season.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to go super positive, let's do it.
Let's do that because I wasn't on my phone much today. You know, I was working and I the last thing I had heard was that he felt something pop. And I was like, man, if he felt something pop, I mean,
the dreams of our season just popped.
I heard something pop in my shoulder
they're
one
going to bring
time.
him back because at this point in the season with the injuries we have, why would you risk doing that to him? But positive news from the MRI, and I think that's, I hate to say it, but I was kind of worried that that's like the final straw.
I mean,
That's fair.
we all were, man.
Where
Everybody
this
was.
team's just like, okay, we can't.
How much more can this team honestly
We lost
take?
Nick Chubb, rally. We lost Deshaun Watson, rally.
Rally.
We lost Denzel Ward. Oh man,
He'll be back soon.
He'll be back. Rally. We lost Myles Garrett.
Because he is leading. I mean, he's the guy.
He is.
You know, he is.
I mean,
he's
and
our leader. Right
our
now.
whole defense is built well. We do have a very good defense. Yes, yesterday wasn't the best game. We've had a couple games this year where it hasn't been the best game. It's okay. We still have a very good defense. Is it elite? Yes, I think so. Is it historic? Probably not. But it's okay. We don't need a historic defense. No. It's the NFL, modern NFL too, where scoring points is the goal of the league.
Yeah, this would be a historic defense at a certain point in history. Sure. Do we know what's going on with Amari Cooper yet? I saw he doesn't have broken ribs.
Yeah, so
his X-rays came back negative.
Negative, yep. So I'm pretty sure he's just probably banged up, but
he's not going to miss any time.
I sent it off
because I hadn't heard if he's expected to miss one game.
This was the injury update that they said today. They said Jordan Elliott is day to day with an ankle injury. Amari Cooper's ribs X-rays were negative. They think he'll be okay. And they said Myles Garrett is sore with a shoulder injury in his day-to-day, but feel good about him. DTR, they said, will work through concussion protocol. I'm telling you, I could be way out. I could be way wrong here. This is like a homecoming game for him. He's going back to California. He played at UCLA. They're practicing at UCLA's little, I guess, practice area or whatever. I think he's going to play.
I hope so.
I think he's going to. I mean, he's a young kid.
Here.
Yeah.
If he can't, I don't think Flacco's going to look bad for us. So and it's going to be Flacco. Like
it will be Flacco.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
I don't even think he would look that bad.
My thing with I would love to see DTR play.
Correct. Yeah, me too.
Now, here's the thing, though. He's a rookie. He's only made 3 starts. Concussion protocol this year, very few guys have been able to suffer a concussion on Sunday and come back and play the following week. Usually you miss a game. I'd say over 90% of concussions, you miss at least one game.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Telling you there's a chance. Okay. But do we really think it's the best idea if he has to miss practice the entire week? Say he gets cleared Saturday. Are we doing this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would kind of depend probably on if Flacco's taking all the reps this week in practice, how does he look?
Right.
Does he look like, oh, wow, 2012 Joe Flacco's back?
How about just 2022 Jets game against the Browns, Joe Flacco? I need somebody who's not going to turn the ball over. Can you just hit your intermediate throws?
We're not talking about this.
What?
We're not talking about that game.
That was one of the worst games I've ever
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
It was a
competent Joe Flacco is kind of the game manager we need right now. But, I mean, our offensive line's got to figure something out. Like, what was that, man?
Just reliving it all over again.
It was just like, we've been positive for so long.
The offensive line wasn't great, but DTR wasn't sacked yesterday. PJ Walker got sacked 4 times, but that was at the point of the game where
DTR can get rid of the ball.
Well, I know PJ was looking for sacks.
Well, no, here's the thing too, is they had ears pinned back.
At that point in the game, I know it's a different, the context is different. I understand.
And we talked about that.
Mm-hmm. But I guess that was more to the point of DTR played the whole time while he was in there and he didn't get sacked.
Right.
Which
I'd be curious on the pressures too. I don't know.
Yeah, when they came.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the sacks were given up when PJ was in there at the end of the game. So none of that stuff happened when DTR was. I really think that DTR, if we're going to take away like a overall positive thing from this game, man, DTR looked like he could be a very good fill-in if we need him.
I agree with that.
Moving forward.
I'd like him to take a little bit off of it.
Yeah, just
I know these guys are pro receivers and they should catch the ball.
Yeah.
Or pass catchers because Njoku's Njoku's my mom said, hey, I'm going to wear my jersey today because I didn't wear it last week. And he had a tough game. And I said, well, what happened? Because I like the guy. He's physical. He's one of our, honestly, it's him and Amari. Yes. Those are the go-to guys as far as, pass catchers. That kid just fires the ball in there. Do you remember like when Baker first came in, he would just rifle everything.
One speed.
Yeah. Like, hey, it's coming to you and it's coming at you fast.
You know who else did that? Brandon Whedon, but he was always throwing like at your.
That's because he was a baseball player.
Yeah. Right.
Or right at the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I was very impressed with the kid.
I think if he learns how to take a little bit off, we saw a couple touch passes, which was nice to see. It's like, oh, there it is. Okay, cool. He's starting to figure that out a little bit because you see whenever he's throwing the constant heaters, when he's going at a certain depth down the field with that heater, it sails. Every time it sails, it's high. And Njoku caught that one going to the sideline where, honestly, if that defender had been in any closer, he gets crushed on that play because he was in the air for a minute trying to catch that ball.
He got up there for that.
Yes, he did. So, I mean, there's just things to work on, but it was an ugly game. What do we got to say? I mean, it was an ugly game. Blame it on whatever you guys want to. It looks like most of the people here in the chat, I put up a poll is, who do you blame for the disaster in Denver? Is it Kevin and the play calling, Jim Schwartz and the defense, the players and the poor execution, or just no one? It was just a bad game by everybody. Right now, it's Kevin and the play calling with just 35%, but then the players, poor execution at 26%. And 32% say no one, just a bad game. Hardly anybody giving any blame to Jim Schwartz in that defense, which I find interesting. I'm a little biased there.
It is biased because they're never going to.
No. Nope.
The defense has had bad games, guys.
Yeah.
That was one of them.
And we've had some really, really good games to make up for it.
On the way in, I was listening to the Discord and you guys were talking, and I thought you brought up a very, very good point.
Oh, thanks.
Our defense has kind of struggled with mobile quarterbacks. I think that that is a real, it's a real thing. Minshew, that first Lamar game. I mean, we didn't have to deal with Kyler. I don't think Kyler wanted to deal with us.
Right.
But then, you have the Russ game now, and I think there is something there with that. I think that's a very real thing. And I don't know if it's the wide nine. I don't know if we just are spread out so far and there's just gaps. But
it's hard to be good at everything, guys.
I know.
I was going to say, and I guess,
and we're critical play that's the thing as Browns fans is we can't just sit back and enjoy an entire game. We have to break it down every second of every play. And if we have 10 great plays and then we have a dud, all we want to talk about is the dud. And I feel like we can't do that. We can't be that fan base. Everybody already hates us already. It's Cleveland against the world. We can't hate each other also, and our head coach.
And if we're gonna finger point the game plan yesterday, I mean, we talked about this in Discord before we came live here tonight. How the Browns last week against the Steelers, it was run heavy and just tons of short passes, nothing down the field. So Denver comes into this game as a defense, and what's their one priority in this game? Just don't let Cleveland run the ball. Make the rookie beat you with his arm. So Kevin comes in with the game plan, says, okay, we're not going to abandon the run. It's not like we didn't run the ball, guys. I already talked about the stats and the numbers. Did he throw it a little more early on? Yeah, you have to throw to open up the run. If the defense is going to start off the game saying we're stuffing the run, you have to throw it down the field and show that, one, we're willing to do it, and two, we're capable of doing it. And that gets the guys out of the box, and that frees up those run lanes. Well, that's what Kevin was trying to do. Meanwhile, the defense was giving up 14-0 right away. So now it's like, I was trying to open up the run with the pass. I'm all of a sudden down 14-0. Now we're going to have to eventually start getting back into this game. So that just lends itself to more passes. I just don't understand. I mean, logically, you can see why the game was the way it was.
That's fair. Okay. I'm arguing.
No, that's all right. You argue in the chat. Let's see, how many? I got 2 voicemails left. So let's talk. Here's Brad.
What's up, Browns fans? What's up, Dog Pound? Do we lose DTR to concussion protocol? What? Is Myles Garrett's arm useless right now? What? Did we not score enough points to win the game? What?
Yeah.
Is D-Hop still, clutch? What? Do we need to run the ball more? What? I don't know what else. Their defense still pretty good. What? Yeah. So all these injuries are adding up. What? Anyways, might kind of look like Joe Flacco's probably going to start next week. Who knows, though? Probably might be PJ Walker. I don't really know. Mark Cooper getting hurt, too. Not great. Yeah, this game just, both sides ball is just ugly. I don't know what else to say. All you say, only thing positive is let's move on next week. Yeah, woo, I need some therapy, boys.
Brad Moneymaker, MVP of voicemail leaving.
Love that.
What? That's a little WWF from back in the day.
Here's the problem. The Browns went to Denver and they realized it's a dry county. You think that's funny when the Browns roll into a dry county?
What is happening?
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, okay. It's good. It's good. Okay. Well, I kind of am having a little trouble. My ADD is having a little problems keeping up with things right now because John lost me there.
Well, here, I'll dial you guys back in. I got one voicemail left, which is, this isn't necessarily about this game. I think this came in last week. It was more of a DTR future of the quarterback position thing. But I don't know. It's worth talking about here for the last 10 minutes or so as we wind this thing down tonight. So it's actually interesting. So we had an intro from the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. We had, we have Columbus, we had San Diego. Now we've got Johnny from New York. So we're all over the place tonight.
Hey guys, John from New York, longtime listener, go Browns. Just wanted to listen to your podcast from Tuesday. Just wanted to, I kind of had a bone to pick. I can say DTR is better than Watson and still think Baker sucks. Just because you say, Deshaun Watson is not just protected because of his money. I think that's a horrible way to look at it. And if DTR goes on a run and wins the playoff game, there has to be a conversation. And just because I think that doesn't mean that I want Baker back. God forbid. Go Browns!
Yeah, we're not bringing Baker back.
No, absolutely not.
I'm trying to think. I think I disagree because we're so invested. I hate talking about the contract stuff, but I really do think that we're so financially invested in Watson. You don't go and make that trade. You don't trade 3 rounds. I mean, San Francisco does that, but I don't think that we make that move if we thought that eventually we would be able to hit. Now, because could we take the next few years and let this kid develop? And could he be something special, maybe like a Jordan Love with Green Bay kind of situation? Absolutely. I don't think that his ceiling or his top is NFL backup quarterback. I think that every week he's kind of getting better and better. And this is a very raw product right now. This is that there's not a lot of kids that are 5th round picks that just get thrown into it like this and go through the first game that they went to and then are able to bounce back and kind of build off of that. So I like what he's saying. I think if he wins a playoff game, it's great for the organization. It's great for Cleveland fans. It's great. Everything's great because then you take that into next year and then you have your insurance policy. We didn't think that when Watson got hurt that he would be that guy for us. We thought, man, damn, maybe we shouldn't have traded Dawgs. That's what everybody immediately went to. And so I'm with him. But I think long-term, I think that's where you aim. I know Watson says he's going to be a Cleveland Brown the rest of his career. And honestly, if he starts performing and can continue playing like we saw at the end of that, Baltimore game, I don't see why we wouldn't want to continue that. But I think you have something nice that let this kid kind of get better and kind of grow in this system. And I think you have something.
That was really,
yeah,
pretty much what you said.
Yeah.
We're going to play the quarterback that gives us the best chance to win a Super Bowl. Money regardless. We're playing the best quarterback we got. But this is very hypothetical stuff right now because we haven't seen DTR look like Deshaun Watson yet.
He's not going to.
No,
he'll never look like Deshaun Watson.
And that's fine. He is our backup right now, not just because of the contract, but because of what he can do. Mm-hmm. When Watson's healthy, he's the better quarterback. He's our franchise quarterback. He gives us the best shot to win. So he's going to be our starter. And you're right. There does have to be a conversation if it comes to that. But to me, that's purely hypothetical right now because we're not seeing anything in that ballpark of DTR sniffing at Watson's job.
The biggest beef coming from the fan base at all about Deshaun Watson, if there is we gave up 3 first-round picks for him. I don't even think people are that mad about the contract. I think people are so focused on, man, every year it's about the first-round pick. It's about the first round. It's about the first round. We gave up 3 of those for this guy, and then he hasn't been on the field all that much in the first 2 years he's been here. I get that, and it sucks. It's frustrating. Yeah. We're frustrated.
That's fair.
We were frustrated.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much last year because it was like suspension, and we detailed why that was stupid of the league and all that stuff based on everything. But this year, what are you supposed to do? The guy broke his shoulder playing for us. We were 5-1 in games he starts, 4-1 in games he plays the whole game.
Mm-hmm. And he wanted to take shots.
Yes, he wanted to play. And the thing is, like, people are so biased against him, I feel like. If you don't like Deshaun Watson, you will never give him credit. Somebody was arguing on Twitter that, until he starts consistently having 300-yard passing games, he won't be a great quarterback for the Browns. I said, since when is 300 yards the only metric to base a quarterback off of?
That means Lamar sucks.
Exactly. Lamar's the worst quarterback in the league. I don't think he's ever had a 300-yard game. So maybe one.
Ask Aaron Butler.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows. It just blows my mind that people pull out these random metrics to base it. It's like, are we winning games when he's in there? Yes, we were. We were winning a lot more. We only lost 1. And even that one, that was the Nick Chubb knee blowout game. And, our offense gifted them 2 scores. Should have won. Either way, the Browns look good when Deshaun Watson is playing quarterback for us. What are you guys laughing about?
I'm laughing at this. It says you can have Joe Burrow if you want to. I'm pretty sure this is the guy, the Bengals fan, that was talking so much crap 3 weeks ago. This is what we've been saying about Bengals fans for the last couple of years. You guys are so predictable.
It is funny. We were talking about that, how as soon as Joe Burrow went out, the Bengals fandom on Twitter and online was, well, what do you guys want to do the rest of the season? We're kind of done. And then it's like, we just lost Deshaun Watson. The fan base is like, all right, let's go. How we get in the playoffs?
Put your Bengals stuff away in your dresser. Go get out your Chiefs stuff that you had.
Oh, man.
And then pretend like you've been Chiefs fans for your whole life.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I will say this. It sucks when there's injuries like this. Because I want to see all these teams at full strength.
Yeah.
So for him to go out, even for Watson go out and Burrow and Joe Burrow he's going to be something for a while. If he can stay on the field, now we're starting to see maybe there's an injury thing, but when he's on the field, that dude's a winner. He is going to be tough, and he's going to be in the AFC North for a long time.
I'm totally with you. As a fan of just the NFL and football in general, if this were Madden and we could just turn off injuries completely, I would, because obviously I want the Browns at full strength, but I want to see it was like week 1, a full strength Browns against a full strength Bengals. It was cool to see, it was high powered. There's a lot of emotion in that game. Whenever you're rolling out backup quarterbacks against teams, it's like, if we go out there and get smoked because he throws 3 picks, it's like, well, it's a backup. It sucks.
Man, and I like Joe Burrow a lot.
It's good. He's really good.
Yeah, for sure.
Ohio guy. So,
and we rag on Lamar all the time and everything, but when the Ravens are on, I'd much rather sit down at home and turn on the Ravens and whoever they're playing and watch Lamar play than Huntley or whoever's their back. I want to see good football. Mm-hmm. So it sucks that, watching the Browns every week now, no matter what, the rest of the season, we're watching a backup, second, third, fourth, whatever string quarterback playing. And that's just the reality. Just as long as we need to get the defensive guys healthy, because if the defense is healthy, I do think as long as we can just not make mistakes on offense, we got to, we'll get to 10 plus wins this year.
I just want to say this real quick, Chris, but don't jump on any bandwagon. You're a Bengals fan.
Yes.
Be a Bengals fan.
Be proud to be a fan of Cincinnati sports, man.
We're doing a podcast and we just lost Deshaun Watson for the season.
Yeah. I've been a Cleveland sports fan since about 1992. It's been tough, man.
That's just the thing about Browns
hang in there,
fans.
big dog. It's going to be all right.
It's all right, man. We would sit out on the lake 30 degrees below. Well, that's an exaggeration.
Well, that was a game last year. That's a real thing, man.
And we're watching, I was with Blake and Justin, or Justin was there, but he had different seats, but the Cowboys came in and just, Zeke ran all over us. Yeah. It was 12 outside, and we won. You know how many games we won that year?
1, or was it 0?
It was 1.
Okay.
We won 1 game. Man, be a Bengals fan. If that's what you are, be that.
Yes.
I will encourage you, buddy. Just be a Bengals fan.
The only time you get to change teams, and that's if your owner
when your team moves
decides
to Baltimore.
your owner decides that he's not going to get a stadium rebuild and just moves the damn team.
Yeah.
Overnight. Sorry, who is it? Indianapolis. Who else got moved? Oh, Baltimore. Baltimore originally.
Yeah.
Baltimore moved to Indy.
No wonder they're so bitter.
Yeah.
They lost their team and got ours.
Yeah. That sucks.
All right. Anything
Sorry.
else before we wrap this thing up? We're about at an hour here.
Hey, just keep your heads up, guys.
Stay up.
Everything's going to be great.
Dear chat, I love you all.
Yes, I also love you all.
Yes,
Yes.
I do too.
Yes.
We'll
Love,
be
love,
back
love.
with a live preview later this week at some point, probably Friday. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
we'll let you guys know. Again, follow us on socials, like this video, subscribe to the channel. We got the t-shirts, whatever it effing takes, because that's still the mentality of this team. One loss does not a season make. So come on, guys, let's rally behind this team. Even if things don't go well again in LA this weekend, it's a West Coast trip. We're coming back. There's winnable games. We'll be fine. Just hang tight, guys. We'll be fine. So I'm trying to think if there's any other housekeeping stuff. JoinTheDawgs.com if you guys want to get into the Discord for the game this Sunday. Do the 7-week free trial. I had a handful of people do it last week. So
7 day.
What?
7 day.
7 day. What'd I say?
7 weeks. I think you got their hopes up.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
that's
It's
a good
definitely not
deal.
a 7-week free trial.
It's for free. Full 7 weeks. All right. Sorry.
All right, guys. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And until we talk to you guys later this week, keep going, Browns. Stay positive.
Let them know.